magnificent synagogue wouldn't look out of place in Jerusalem or New York, but this proud symbol of the Jewish faith stands in the country where Judaism was almost wiped out. For decades, Poland has been synonymous with Jewish persecution, but today, rising from the ashes of the Holocaust and the grey years of communism, is a small but growing Jewish community.
One can certainly say that there is a reemergence of Poles with Jewish roots wanting to reconnect to the Jewish people and to their Jewish identity. And that there are thousands more today than there were 3 or 4 years ago. How many thousands, nobody knows.
It's Friday prayers at the Warsaw Synagogue, and the faithful are preparing to celebrate one of the most important holidays on the Jewish calendar, Yom Kippur. New freedoms have encouraged many young people to search for their roots. Judaism has become fashionable, but it's brought unforeseen difficulties. When this couple discovered their Jewish blood, they found there was no one left to guide them through the intricate rituals.
I remember our first Shabbat, which we tried to prepare ourselves, and we didn't know what is first, candles or blessing, what blessing, how to say it, things like that. We did it in a little room, and we prepared food, but how prepare Hawa, can it be from store or not? We had 1,000 questions, and we didn't have Michael, our Rebbe.
The rabbi was flown in by American Jewish philanthropist Ronald Lauder to fill the void. He's charged with passing on Jewish traditions to the new members of the congregation. He also has to teach the wider community tolerance. In this country, anti-Semitism is never far from the surface. The front of the synagogue has been vandalized, and just a few months ago, the entrance was firebombed, demolishing part of the structure.
There is anti-Semitism in Poland. It is not as virulent or as obtrusive as many people outside of Poland believe. However, it does exist. The greatest problem with anti-Semitism is not that I'm afraid to walk down the street as a Jew, they're going to beat me up or throw eggs at me or do something like that. It happens, rarely. The real problem is the social element. That is, if I tell my classmate, if I tell my colleague that I'm Jewish, is he going to stop being my friend?
That's not a dilemma faced by children at Warsaw's new Jewish elementary school, but many of their parents are reluctant to openly display their background.
I think that there are people who are still probably fearful of saying that they're Jewish or have Jewish roots. I think that I've seen that here even when people come to school to inquire about the school, that it takes them a long time to even get around to the point that someone in their family was Jewish. And I think this is a perfectly safe environment to me. I mean, you look around the school and there's Hebrew on the walls and there are mezuzot on the doors, and there's an ambiance of Jewish culture throughout the building. And so when people are still reticent, I am reminded that it takes quite a long time to heal the wounds.
For just that reason, the school accepts non-Jewish students. It keeps the door open for those who want to give their children a Jewish upbringing without revealing their own roots. The school is another Ronald Lauder project to spread Jewish culture. Classes are taught in Polish, but everyone learns Hebrew.
Knisa? Leisha. In a sense, we have 92 little ambassadors of Jewish culture who can say, I go to the Jewish school, or my sister goes to the Jewish school. And I think that in Poland, this is a very, very important thing to be able to offer.
Demand for places at the elementary school has surpassed even the teachers' expectations. It opened 4 years ago with just one class. Now it has 6. The Jewish kindergarten has moved to bigger premises, and there are plans for a secondary school. The Jewish community in Warsaw is thriving, but to discover the evidence of the long history of the Jews in Poland, it's necessary to travel to Krakow. The Jewish quarter of Kazimierz survived Hitler's final solution by a strange twist of fate. The thousands of residents were herded into a ghetto on the other side of Krakow, leaving the empty buildings unscathed.
Walking through it right now, you can maybe get a sense for what happened here a little bit, because, I mean, as you can see, the buildings around us, some of them are pretty decrepit and things like that. And if they were to restore it, I think you would lose that.
But the changes have already begun. There are virtually no Jews remaining in Krakow, but there's plenty of opportunities for a kosher meal. Even on Yom Kippur, a day when fasting is obligatory, it was business as usual at the Ariel restaurant. Polish entrepreneurs have discovered that Jewish culture sells. Film director Steven Spielberg is partly responsible for that. His Oscar-winning movie Schindler's List was filmed in Kazimierz. He was a regular at the Ariel during the making of the film.
Tak, jestem szczęśliwy z przyjazdu Stevena Spielberga i od tego momentu, od nakręcenia listu Schindlera, Kazimierz zaczął żyć. Ogromne zainteresowanie tą dzielnicą. Dzięki właśnie Stevenowi Spielbergowi ta dzielnica, to miejsce jest znane na całym świecie. I to jest zasługa Stevena Spielberga.
Tourists can follow in the footsteps of Schindler's Jews. The factory that provided a haven for them, away from the death camps, is still operating. Stone memorials dominate the fields where Nazi prison camps once stood. It was from here that the Krakow Jews left for the death camps of Auschwitz. The concentration camps draw more tourists than any other place in Poland. Auschwitz remains the most potent symbol of the Holocaust. No tourist leaves the death camps without being moved by the remnants of one of the darkest pages in human history.
Well, you have to understand that today is Yom Kippur, which is the most holy day for Jewish people. And we were in Auschwitz today to see the concentration camp, where thousands and thousands, millions of Jews were killed. Very emotional day for anybody. And if you're Jewish, it's even more so.
This is the fourth time that I've been to Auschwitz, and I think actually it impressed me more today than every other time I've been here. It's not something which you can get used to or become blasé about. I think on the contrary, it hits you harder each time.
Just 5,000 Jews survived the death camps. It's their grandchildren who are leading today's revival of Judaism.
People come to Poland for many reasons, and often there's a sort of a pilgrimage to the death camps, to Auschwitz, Treblinka, and that's a very, very important part of Jewish history. And I've tried to explain to people that if you see that, but you don't see the flickers of light here at the school or the preschool or in the youth club in Gdańsk, then you're missing the point. I mean, if the strength of the Jewish spirit could have been found in Auschwitz, then this is also a spark of that Jewish spirit.
It's been a long and painful journey, but Jews are now free to practice their faith in Poland. The numbers are growing.